You know that feeling, right? When you're staring at a messy spreadsheet and you just know there's a real story hidden somewhere inside all that data. Well, today, we're going to see how Google Cloud Dataprep turns that exact chaos into clarity. We're going on a journey from a jumble of raw information to a single, powerful, actionable insight. So, on one side, you've got the reality for so many of us, this tangled mess of raw data. I mean, think unlabeled columns, weird formats, and just noise. It's practically useless as is. But over on the other side, that's the goal, one powerful insight that can actually drive decisions. So the big question is, how do we get from here to there? Well, every journey needs a map. And in data prep, that map, that starting point, is called a flow. Think of a flow like the master blueprint for your whole project. It's the container that organizes everything, your messy initial data, all the cleaning steps you're about to apply, and of course, the final polished results. It just keeps your whole process neat and maybe more importantly, repeatable. And getting started is really straightforward. First, you just create a new blank flow. You want to give it a descriptive name, something like FEC 2016 in this case, because that's crucial for staying organized later. Then you just pull in the raw datasets you need to work with. For us, that's the candidate master file and all those raw contribution records. All right, our data is loaded, and now it's time for the real magic. We're heading into the transformation phase, and this is where data prep really shines, in cleaning, shaping, and refining all our information. This whole stage is about building what's called a recipe. And honestly, it's pretty much what it sounds like, a step-by-step set of instructions. Each step in our recipe is one specific cleaning action or transformation that we apply to our data, one after the other. Okay, this is where data prep just feels kind of magical. See, it automatically creates these visual charts for your data. You notice the years there? If we want to focus on just the 2016 data, you don't write a single line of code. Nope. You just click on the bar for 2016 and bam, data prep instantly suggests the right filtering step for your recipe. It's just that intuitive. Data prep also acts like a little data detective, proactively flagging potential problems. Look here, it's analyzed the state column and highlighted US in red. But why? Well, because it figured out that column should probably contain two-letter state codes. This visual alert immediately tells you, hey, pay attention to this. And fixing it is just as easy. Now, US might be a totally valid entry here, but it just doesn't match the state data type data prep assumed. So with a simple click, we can just tell it, hey, change this column's type to a more flexible string. The second we do that, the error just vanishes. It's that simple. So just to recap, a recipe is built from these simple, super powerful actions. You can filter things visually, you can fix those data mismatches with just a click, and for anything more advanced, you can even use Wrangle, which is data prep's own specialized data language. Each little action just becomes another step in your recipe, cleaning your data methodically. So our contribution data is a lot cleaner now, that's for sure. But it's still missing a key piece of the puzzle, the actual candidate names. To get the full picture, we need to combine it with our other dataset, the one with all the candidate info. The technique for doing this is called a join. It lets us merge two different datasets by matching up rows based on a shared piece of information. In our case, that common link or join key is the candidate ID that exists in both of our files. Now, what's incredibly helpful here is that data prep does most of the heavy lifting. It analyzes both datasets and automatically suggests that the candidate ID is the best way to link them. It also gives you total flexibility to choose exactly which columns you want to keep from each file in your new merged dataset. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Our data is now clean, it's unified, and it's enriched. We are on the final step, aggregation. This is where we roll up all those individual records to finally reveal the high-level story that's been hiding inside all along. The goal here is pretty simple. We need to summarize. I mean, instead of looking at thousands of individual contributions, we want to see the big picture. So we use functions to sum up all the contribution amounts, and then we group those totals by the candidate's name. This is what lets us see exactly how much each candidate raised in total. Now, this might seem like a small, tiny step, but it is absolutely vital. We need to make the data readable for humans. I mean, come on, nobody knows what column 16 means. But when we rename it to something meaningful, like total_contribution, the final result is instantly understandable. It is all about clarity. And here we are. We've made it. After that entire journey, From those messy raw files, through a repeatable recipe of cleaning steps, joining our datasets, and finally aggregating the results, we arrive at our single, powerful insight. We've taken thousands of raw records and distilled them down into one clear, understandable story. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that tools like Dataprep can transform data prep from this tedious, code-heavy chore into a visual, interactive journey of discovery. And that leaves us with a really interesting question. What crucial stories are locked away inside your messy data, just waiting for the right recipe to bring them to light?